Good morning students. Our today's topic is momentum of chapter laws of motion. Momentum we also call it as linear momentum. We call it linear momentum when we consider linear motion. Let me tell you what is the momentum. Momentum is basically that physical quantity which gives the measurement of the effect of motion. What is the effect of motion of given object? We measured by this physical quantity which is known as linear momentum. We also say the definition many times. If an object is moving, if of mass m, moving with velocity v, then the product of mass into velocity of that particular object gives the value of the momentum. For example, if I have placed this stone on a fixed end, this block on a fixed end, moving with velocity v, so momentum is denoted by small p. Many times we can also write it as capital P, but small p is the general symbol used. Small p is equal to m into v. Product of mass and velocity gives the formula for momentum. It is a vector quantity. Okay, it is a vector quantity. Its unit is kg meter per second by the given formula. And what is the dimension? Its dimension is ml t power minus 1. Let me clear you this momentum with a simple example. Suppose I am having a glass plate on a table and I am taking a small stone of small mass, throwing from a height with a velocity v on that glass plate. What I saw, that glass plate doesn't break. glass plate नहीं टूटती. अगर उसी पर्टिकुलर हाइट से, उसी वेलोसिटी से हम एक ऐसा स्टोन लें जिसका मास उस वाले मास से बहुत ज्यादा है, या एक हैवी मास ऑब्जेक्ट स्टोन ले लें, तो क्या होगा? उस हाइट से, उसी वेलोसिटी से हम स्टोन को थ्रो करेंगे तो वो ग्लास प्लेट ब्रेक हो जाएगी. तो व्हाट आर वी सीइंग? दिस इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ द मोमेंटम. Same object but different masses, same velocity, same height, but the effect is different. That is, we call it as the effect of motion. ये effect of motion है. So are you able to understand what is momentum? This is the simple concept of momentum. And its direction, because it is a vector quantity, so the direction of momentum is always the direction of the velocity. What is the velocity of that object? What is the direction of that object? That will be the direction of the momentum. Okay? So student, let me explain you this momentum with the help of simple example. I have drawn this figure. This is a fixed end. This is an object of mass 1 kg moving towards the fixed end with the speed of 10 meter per second. After striking this end, the mass is reflected with a speed of 5 meter per second. It is returned with the speed of 5 meter per second. Question is, what is the change in momentum of this mass? Because this mass velocity is changing initially, and if the mass is moving toward positive x direction, moving with velocity 10 meter per second. After reflecting through the fixed end, after striking the fixed end, the mass is returning with a speed of 5 meter per second. So it means velocity is changing, so momentum is also changing. We have to calculate this change in momentum. So initially, I would like to write that Pi. Pi is what? Initial momentum. Initial momentum means, formula is mu, mass will be 1 and velocity will be 10, that is 10 kg meter per second. What will be the final momentum? We will also write vector sign. Mass is 1, velocity is 5. But one thing we have to consider, both are velocity, but direction of velocity is different. One along positive x direction, other along negative x direction. So we have to differentiate this direction of velocity by considering a sign. If I am taking this 10 meter per second as positive, so I have to take this as minus, opposite direction of this velocity, and that's why we are getting this term minus 5 kg meter per second. From this it is clear that initial means positive direction में जा रहा था, तो momentum value is this. Negative direction means final momentum will be minus 5 kg meter per second. So what will be the change in momentum. This will be P final minus P initial. This is the formula for change in momentum. First we will write minus 5, then we will write minus, then we will write this 10 as positive. What we are getting? We are getting minus 15 value. It means change in momentum is minus 15 kg meter per second. What this denote? What is this value calculating? Means the change in momentum value is 15 kg with a minus sign. This minus sign gives the direction of change in momentum, means towards left. According to this figure, towards left we can also write, or negative x direction we can also write. In any way we can write this answer. Minus sign is also indicating the direction. If we write, that is okay. If we don't write, minus sign is also sufficient. Okay student, you are able to understand this numerical? Let me explain this momentum with the help of another example. I have drawn one figure. In this figure, I am not writing the question, only by the figure I am explaining you the question. If suppose there is an m mass object and it is incident at an angle of 30 degree from the horizontal towards this fixed point. Okay. This object is incident on this fixed end, and after striking this end, this object is reflected towards this opposite end again at the angle of 30 degree with the same velocity. I am repeating the question. If a small m mass object, it is moving with velocity v, striking the fixed end at an angle 30 degree. After striking that object, that fixed end, it is returning with a speed of u, same speed and at same angle, but direction is reversed. Here it is in this direction, here it is in this direction. For this particular question, you have to calculate the change in momentum. So this is a different type question in which velocity is not in a straight direction, it is at an angle. So how to solve these questions? You should be able to calculate, to resolve any given vector. You should know how to resolve the vector. Let me tell you how we will resolve these two vectors. One incident velocity and the other is reflected velocity. If I write it as O, it is B, A, it is B and it is L. Okay. Now, if I am drawing this figure, this is U, this is O and this is A. Now from this velocity, this is the velocity U. Now this figure from this part, you are able to understand how the resolution of this velocity take place. This will be its U cos theta 30 degree and this will be U sin 30 degree. We can also write it because the direction of U and P will be same. So we can write it as this is the momentum direction. This is the again P sin theta and this is P sin theta. And what is this? This is the P final. Okay. So this is the velocity of, after reflecting, this is the velocity U. So this is the direction of final momentum. Momentum final body जिस तरफ जा रही है. उसके बाद अगर ये body ऐसे incident हुई है like this and the angle is drawn at an angle of 30 degree and we have to resolve this initial momentum. So how we will resolve? Student, make it very clear. If the direction of any vector is this, the component will be along this and this. If the direction of any vector is this, the component will be along this and this. Why it is so? Because it is the rule of resolution that the two component u cos, u sin will always be perpendicular to each other and the main vector is between the two components. If this is a vector A and these are the two components, so A vector will be between, bounded by these two components. If this is a vector B, then these two components will be bound, the B vector will be bounded by these components. So coming to this, seeing this arrow like this, direction of the initial momentum is this, how we will draw the components? What we will do, we will draw one angle, one horizontal line parallel to this. If this is 30, so this will be 30. So what will be the component? This will be Pi cos 30 and this will be, what is this? Will be P cos, and this will be P sin 30. So now in this question figure you are able to see the clear what is the direction of velocity initial and what is the direction of initial momentum, what is the direction of final velocity and what is the direction of final momentum. First of all, we have resolved the initial momentum in this way. After that, we have resolved the final momentum in this way. Now if we have resolved any vector, we will write the vector in the resolution form. If this is P initial, okay, this is the component, these are the component, this is cos, this is sin. So how we will write this initial momentum in vector form? कैसे लिखेंगे इसको? P cos 30 degree I cap. X component is along positive x direction, but y component is along negative direction. So we have to write this minus P. P will be same for all, minus P sin 30 degree j cap. Okay, so this is the component of P cos P sin. In this way you will write. Okay, after that taking the final momentum के components कहाँ हैं? X component negative direction में है, Y component भी negative direction में है, तो आप इसको लिखोगे P cos 30 I cap, negative direction के लिए माइनस, फिर Y वाला भी negative direction में है तो Y के लिए भी माइनस. So this point is clear. I'm again saying, first of all we have to resolve, then we have to write the vector in the components form I and j, seeing by the writing the direction also. If the direction is positive, we will write with plus sign. If the direction is negative, we will write with negative sign. Now we have to calculate the change in momentum. Change in momentum means P final minus P initial. P final value I am writing minus P cos 30 degree I cap minus P sin 30 degree j cap. Okay, now after writing this again minus P final value I have written minus sign, then P initial value P cos 30 I cap, then minus P, this is plus, this is minus P sin 30 j cap. Okay, so what you are saying, this minus sign will go inside, this will be minus, this will be plus, this j component will cancel this j component. What value we are getting as the change in momentum? Minus 2p cos 30 I cap, means change in momentum is along x axis, along x direction and with negative sign, means negative direction. If we will substitute cos 30 value, so we will write it as light root 3 2. This will again cancel out. What we are getting? Root 3p I cap. This is the value of change in momentum, and this value represent that the change in momentum value is root 3 mu. Root 3p means minus ka root 3 mu I cap. So the change in momentum value is root 3 mu with minus sign, means along negative x direction. So this type of question should be clear in your book. This many times this type of question is in front of you, given to you. You should know how to resolve the given vector and how to write the vector equation in I and j. Then we resolve and calculate like this. Okay, it's clear? Students, now Newton's second law of motion. What is Newton's second law of motion? Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum is equal to applied force. Suppose we are having a mass m moving with velocity u. If a force is applied on this mass, its velocity changes. So what this law states? This force F is equal to the rate of change of momentum. So what will be the change of momentum of this particular example? mv minus mu upon delta t. If I am taking m common, v minus u upon delta t. So this F is equal to, what is this? This is the acceleration of this particular object. So in Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to delta P upon delta T, we are also getting a formula F is equal to ma. Many times students say, when it is asked what is Newton's second law of motion, they say F is equal to ma. It is not always F is equal to ma. This F is equal to ma is applied only when the mass of object is constant. When m object is constant. When the mass of the object is constant, then F is equal to ma. If in any case for any object the mass is also changing with velocity, so this formula will not be applicable. It is only applicable when m is constant. So when the law is asked what is Newton's second law of motion, so this is the perfect statement. The force applied is equal to rate of change of momentum. Okay, so this is Newton's second law of motion. Coming to the differential form of Newton's second law of motion, where we are considering that mass is also variable. So according to Newton's second law, what is this? Delta P upon delta T. And this delta P upon delta T we write as dP upon dt. You all are well aware about this dP upon dt. Okay, so when mass and velocity both are variable, then what we write? D upon dt of mv. What is I writing? D upon dt of mv. Now again I am applying a differential formula of mathematics that is known as product rule. This is the differential formula. How we will differentiate? If we are having two variable numbers, two variable quantity, and we have to differentiate with respect to t. What we will do? We will write first function as it is, differentiation of second function, then second function as it is, differentiation of first. So this formula we will use for these two variable terms, mass and velocity. How it we will use? Mass dv upon dt, then v dm upon dt. So this is the differential form of second law of motion, in which we are having mass and velocity both variable. Many times in any numericals it is given that the variable mass value is this, the variable velocity value is this. So this differential equation form is applicable in those questions. Okay, so this point is clear. Differential form of second law of motion. Now student, let me explain this Newton's second law with help of few example, one or two example. Now question 1 example is in front of you. I am having a mass 1 kg which is placed on a table or fixed, and we can say like this. Weight is mg downward and the normal reaction is acting upward. The block is accelerating towards positive x direction when a force of 5 Newton is applied. So in this figure we are seeing that if this normal reaction and mg is balanced, so there is no movement along the vertical direction. When this force is applied, 5 Newton on mass of 1 kg, so how much acceleration will this object have? We will calculate with the help of this formula, as it is written. Newton force value is 5 Newton, mass 1 kg, acceleration a. We are getting a is equal to 1 upon 5. Unit will be meter per second square in the direction of force. Okay. So if in this question, this is one question in which we are seeing that in the direction of force the object is accelerating, and with the help of Newton's second law formula we are able to calculate the acceleration. Suppose now if in this question one more force is acting towards left with the value 2 Newton. Suppose इस क्वेश्चन में, ये आपका सेकंड क्वेश्चन हो गया, इस क्वेश्चन में 5 न्यूटन फोर्स फॉरवर्ड डायरेक्शन में लग रहा है, 2 न्यूटन फोर्स बैकवर्ड डायरेक्शन में लग रहा है. So now what will be the acceleration? In this case we will calculate the F resultant. What will be the F resultant? 5 minus 2. दोनों फोर्स का रिजल्टेंट. लार्जर फोर्स से स्मॉलर फोर्स को माइनस करेंगे, 5 minus 2 that is 3 Newton. So F net, F you will write F net is equal to 3 Newton. Again F net force will be equal to MA. Now 3, M value 1 and A. So in case this case we are getting value A is equal to 1 upon 3 meter per second square. So if a single force is acting, with the help of force formula, mass value we are able to calculate. And if there are more than one force acting, first of all we have to calculate the resultant force. After that the acceleration value, and the acceleration will always be towards the higher value of force or larger value of force. Okay, so now Newton's third law of motion. It is also known as action-reaction pair. Newton's third law of motion, action-reaction pair. What this law state? This law state that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction acting on two different objects. This line is very important. Many times students are confused on this action-reaction. For this Newton's third law, it is very important that we should have two objects, and one object is applying force on the other and other is applying force on the first one. So let me explain with the help of example. My first example is a figure in front of you. This is a table. One block is placed of mass M on this table. This block is applying a force mg on the table in the downward direction, and this table is applying a force, normal reaction force, on the block in the upward direction. So here we will say that this is Newton's third law application question, application example. Normal reaction and mg both are action reaction. But let me take another example. Suppose this is a block of mass m. One force is acting towards the right direction, F1. Other force is acting towards the left direction. This body is not accelerating. The net force acting on the body is 0, means F1, F2 is 0. Will this is applicable for Newton's third law? No. Newton's third law is not application or applied over here. F1, F2 are not action-reaction pairs. Make it very clear. Here the body is a single body in which these two forces are acting, and they are as a balanced force. These two forces are balancing each other such that the net force acting on this object is 0, acceleration is 0. So this is not valid. This example is not valid for Newton's third law. Okay, now I will take a third example. Suppose this is a body A and this is a body B. A body is applying a force towards B, towards right, and if this force is FBA. This object B is applying a force on A towards left, and this is FAB. And if I say here FAB plus FBA, net resultant force is 0. So this is action reaction. We will say this is action reaction. Here the two objects are applying equal and opposite force on each other. So this is also representing an application example of Newton's third law. If the net resultant force is 0 and these two objects are applying force on each other, so this is an example of action reaction. So make it very clear. Action reaction means there are two bodies and both are applying force on each other. If two forces on a single body are equal and opposite, acting on each other, acting on that object, then that will not be the example of Newton's third law of motion. Okay students, this point is clear to all. Suppose we have to calculate the impulsive force for a duration of time from suppose t1 to t2 time. If the time duration 2 seconds is not given and it is given from 2 seconds to 5 seconds, 5 seconds to 8 seconds, then how we will calculate the impulse? I have written let a force capital F acts for a very small interval of time dt. Then the impulsive force acting will be di is equals to F dt. Okay. So this F will be average force and this will be dt, di, then dt. If we have to calculate impulsive force for time t1 to t2. Suppose our time interval is t1 to t2. So what we will do? We will integrate this equation 1 with respect to time as di, it will be 0 to I, then F average value, integration of dt, limit t1 to t2. This is F average and this dt will be t limit t1 to t2 and this will be I 0 to I. So I will be, the formula for impulsive force will be, on substituting the formula, we are getting this formula for impulsive force whenever the time interval value t1 and t2 is given. Okay, so in this way you will derive, you are getting the impulsive force formula F average t2 minus t1. Okay, it's clear. There are many practical life examples based on impulse. एक example है, आपने देखा होगा जब भी कोई क्रिकेटर बॉल कैच करता है, so in that case the impulse imparted to the hand, जितना भी impulse हम जब बॉल कैच करते हैं तो क्रिकेटर क्या करता है, थोड़ा टाइम लेता है कैच करने में. Why it is so? Because the impulse imparted to the hand of the cricketer is equal to the force exerted by the ball into the time duration of catching. So when the cricketer increase the time of catch, then the force exerted on the hand becomes less. जब भी क्रिकेटर क्या करता है, उस टाइम को बढ़ाता है, तो उससे क्या होता है, जो उसको हैंड में बॉल जब लेगा तो कुछ चोट लगेगी, वो कम हर्ट हो, इसलिए वो टाइम को बढ़ा के फोर्स की वैल्यू को लेस कर लेता है. दिस इज ऑल्सो एन एग्जाम्पल बेस्ड ऑन इम्पल्स. One more example of impulse we can discuss. Many times we saw when a person falls, cemented floor get injured more comparing to sand. अगर कोई पर्सन किसी सीमेंट पे फॉल करता है तो ज्यादा चोट लगती है comparing to sand. What is the reason behind it? The impulse imparted to the person is same, but in the case of cement, when the person falls, it stops at once, and the cement exert a large cemented floor exert large reaction force on that person. But in case of sand, when the person fall on sand, the person take a small duration of time in which the sand depressed, and then the floor exert small reaction force on the person, because of which the case of sand he get less injured comparing to cement. So in this way there are many examples of impulse. We can say there are many examples in day-to-day life. So this is the impulse derivation and some examples. Okay, thank you.